See, I thought last week was the plot twist. Everything about what we learned about how the game still has designated paths that the characters have to follow. Nah, man, this episode's even more shocking to me. This is legitimately a statement that's true. And it wouldn't be clickbait in any way, it would just be a blatant spoiler. Emilia threatens to kill her parents, adopts Patrick as her stepson, and then kisses her stepson in this week's episode. That legitimately all happens. Granted, maybe the paperwork wasn't finalized that she actually adopted, but I mean, she was planning on doing so. But Lord howdy, I guess you might be able to make the argument it feels rushed in the way because after the episode ends, it's like, okay, Demon Lord time. So, I mean, I guess so, but like, I still want to see a season 2. This is one of those situations where if you end up defeating the Demon Lord next episode, do we then go into like a sequel territory or like new paths that don't follow a game mechanics or something? I don't know, but like legitimately between last episode and episode 11 of Villainess level 99, this show has me hooked. I have a full live reaction to this week's shockingly great episode over on my Patreon if you want to see my full and cut thoughts to this or any of these wonderful episodes. They're over there if you're interested. Now, legitimately shocking. Like, I'm honestly baffled. It's been like 15 minutes since I finished the episode, and I'm still just like on a high from this episode. Like let's talk about the development between Patrick and Emilia first. So we've known that, you know, he's had quite the crush on the girl. I mean, he's been training. He got up to level 60 by the end of this episode, right? Like, that's where he's at level-wise, because she basically implied that she likes guys who are stronger than her. So he hustled, and he got to quite the strength, and he's like, you know, I want to really go with you, and she says you'd be better on the front lines, which actually makes sense, but of course he wants to be next to her. And the way they directed that scene was so freaking good. I have an issue with like night focused shots because just the way my eyes are, I have a harder time keeping track of what's happening in dim scenes than a lot of people. But even when it's properly lighted, it still just feels bland more often than not. Whatever they did for this scene, where before the fireworks happen, and you can still see their character designs, you still see their facial reactions, but it's very poorly detailed because there's not a lot of light. I'm like, oh, here we go. They're gonna do the thing. He's gonna give a kiss or something, the fireworks go off, and it was better than I could imagine. Even if it was more of a side cheek kiss, which it was implied that it was, it doesn't matter, man. The fact that they did the rock, paper, scissors, and the fact that, you know, it's too dark to see who won this, that, and the third, and she's saying you won. It's just like the whole thing was so freaking romantic, and I never thought we'd see something like this in this show. I highly underestimated the old Darkness Queen here, but Jesus, man, that was diabetes and then some. Like, everything about this episode just feels so good to me. Whether it was how she goes from helping that kid who had darker hair, obviously not to the same degree as her, but still he has that fear of not fitting in because of just how the culture is surrounding darker hair. And then the fact that she throws the kid into the group, ties up these bandits trying to kill her, and says, hey, there's children here. I'm going to take you into the alleyway so the kids don't get scarred. And they're just like, she's the coolest person ever. And I'm like, she's brutally torturing and killing people. I'm just like, this is fantastic. There's no other way to put it. She gets an assassin in her bed and the blade breaks on her chest and it bends. And I'm like, who are we following right now? Like, it is just such a comedy whiplash, but the way they handled her parents, I think this is like really the first big moment of the episode, if you ignore like some of the funnier things. She literally goes home and just says like, remember how I like to say that her black hole is basically like putting a gun to someone's head? Whether it's the school, whether it's just for fun, whatever it is, like she holds people at gunpoint. This is the first time that I can fully support in the black hole supremacy. This girl legitimately says, hey, I'm gonna take my title. And they're like, what are you saying? And they're like, well, I'm your only heir. If you die right now, I get it anyway. So either you can go under house arrest or you die. One way or another, I'm getting my title, and this will be a position that will allow me to help stop the discrimination against people like with darker hair and everything. And I'm just like, she summoned a miniature black hole for Sunday dinner. The mom was so petrified. I thought we were about to get a Looney Tunes level animation of her soul passing away Casper style. She passes out and the dad's like, yup. everything you're saying makes total sense. And I'm just like, I've enjoyed this show episode by episode. Like, especially after we got past episode 1, I've enjoyed every episode since, pretty much as well as I needed to. But between episodes 10 and 11, it took this show up a notch. Now, I'm not the type of person who thinks if you have a weaker or poor ending that it ruins everything that comes before. If I can look at a majority of something that I watch, whether the beginning sucks, the ending sucks, but a majority of what I watched was great, I'm going to consider that a fulfilling experience. Yeah, it's always best if it has a great start, middle, and end, but it's not going to be a make it or break it. But I legitimately think if episode 12 goes as hard and great as it does with actually defeating the Demon Lord and obviously probably setting up a new plot point of some sort, but maybe it'll just end. I mean, I doubt it because Emilia definitely has more of a story left past just being the hidden boss, it feels, but time will tell, of course. But if they nail episode 12 as hard as I think, the end of this show is gonna slap on the beginning and middle of this show so hard that I'll probably rate this like higher than I thought possible. Like, I was calling this a pretty good show, and you know, if you have a decent ending, maybe I call it. No, I think this could end up as a pretty amazing show, all things considered. Like, this has really surprised me. And considering my like kind of like pushback at the intro of this show with how they handled it, especially given that the source material didn't go the direction that the anime did in the first like half of episode 1, the fact that the ending's going to be such a polar opposite reaction from me has me so excited. Next episode could suck, and I'll still be very happy with the direction they've went up to this point, but I'm actually very pleasantly surprised. I still don't like the 3D, mind you, but you know, I think we all have collectively said that. It is what it is. But all things considered, I'd take some shit 3D if I get some great characterization like we've been experiencing over recent episodes. I mean, this is one of those situations that kind of reminds me of Bakurina, where like, you know, you could get into like a sequel game territory, but in this case it feels like rather than Bakurina dealing with the sequel Otome game in that show, this could just be like, oh, we go past where she knows the game is, and actually it's just a normal life for her, but still with some maybe the world trying to control certain things happening. I don't know, but there's definitely a possibility for a season 2, and I really hope we get to see one, but hey, at the very least, if we don't, we're at least getting a full story for the Demon Lord stuff, at least by the way it's looking, but I guess time will tell. Let me know what you thought, though, down below, because fuck, man, I thought last week was a plot twist, but maybe this is the bigger one, I don't know. Let me know your feelings though, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course ring the bell so you can get notified when I upload more, and like I mentioned, we have a full live reaction over on my Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. Alright, so today we got Jmons 9173, Durhosh, Franklin Greenway, Hikari Lounge, Fletchbringer, Proof Space, SW Me, Nanodog, and Hikari Oni. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. Have a good one.